Hello YouTube, this is Frank from Architectural Aesthetics, and today in this video I would like to talk to you about the importance of handwriting and how you can improve your handwriting in just a matter of days. So with the advent of modern technologies such as cell phones and tablets and the omnipresence of keyboards, you will think that as a society we're moving away from handwriting and just diving straight into mechanically inputted texts. And I thought that I'll be saying goodbye to handwriting forever since I graduated from college. However, I come to realize that even though you're in the workforce, there are still numerous situations that call for very effective, very fast handwriting. For example, let's say that your supervisor is briefing you on a new project. You would be writing everything down on a piece of notebook versus typing everything down on a computer. And when you're trying to transfer some files to a coworker, you would be handwriting all the notes down on a post-it note versus typing and printing all the notes out. And speaking of note-taking, studies have shown that handwriting down on your notes is going to help you with your long-term information retention instead of just robotically typing everything on a computer. And with that said, I would like to share with you some techniques and certain exercises I deployed that allowed me to improve my penmanship in a relatively short period of time. That's coming up next. And before we begin, just a disclaimer. This video, we're not talking about architectural lettering, which is a whole different animal. In this video, we're just purely talking about how to improve your cursive handwriting. In cursive handwriting, by definition, it allows you to write at a very fast speed. I mean, it's the primary purpose why it was invented in the first place. Whereas you can write in a very legible manner when you're printing all your letters, it's just way too slow. And on top of that, I believe handwriting not only engages your physical body, your physical movement, but it also engages your mind. And in my opinion, the fluidity and the flow of cursive handwriting really facilitates your thinking. Whereas if you're just printing all your letters and you're breaking at the end of every single letter, it interrupts your train of thought. Alright guys, so if we take a look at my office notebook, you can see that I used to print everything when I'm taking notes. And let me tell you, this style, although it's very legible and looks very neat, it's painfully slow. And you can see that throughout April, May, and pretty much the entirety of June, I've been using the same very methodical, very slow style of printing handwriting. And I would say that around the end of July, I really started to take an interest in improving my cursive handwriting, as evident in the way I write the letter J, the letter Q. This letter R is still not very mature. I still was going with the old way of how I write the letter R. When the beginning of August comes around, you can see that my style has become more mature, and during the mid-August, it has matured even further. You can see that the letter R is pretty much the way how I write the letter R right now. By the end of August and September, I would say that my style has truly matured, and right now I'm able to write very fast in a very legible manner, even under duress. Alright guys, so now let me give you some book resources. For me personally, ever since I took interest in improving my cursive handwriting, I stumbled upon this article written by this very large, very popular blogging website called Art of Manliness. And in that very particular article, the author recommended this book called The American Style of Cursive Handwriting Workbook. And the book was a game changer for me because it changed the way I write several very particular letters. And now all of a sudden I have a very strict guideline to stick with. But obviously I didn't go with the book 100%. I made some very personal changes to modify the style to cater to my personal aesthetics. So now let's go take a look at how I write the 26 letters. This is the way how I write my 26 letters. You can see that in the cases of the letter D, G, the letter Z, and T, it's almost indistinguishable from the way how you would print these letters. But a few game changers would be the way how the book taught me to write the small letter R and the undercase of B. It really sped up my writing process. It also taught me that if I write my capital M and N And why this way? It saves me much time rather than writing them in this angular printed way like this. This is going to take too much time. Alright, with that said, let's talk about practicing. And I just want to put it out there that to really internalize all the muscle memory of this newfound style of yours, it's going to take a lot of volume. However, there are certain smart ways of practicing that is going to get you where you would like to be at much faster, whereas you just practice blindly and get frustrated all the time. And I personally advocate combining the act of practicing handwriting with your daily affirmation. And daily affirmation is something I learned from people like Napoleon Hill and Grant Cardone, where you just take a piece of paper and write down some of the things you would like to achieve in your life repetitively day after day. And if you do it like this, you're killing two birds with one stone, because on the one hand, you're engaging in auto-suggestion where you're giving command to your subconscious to really make your subconscious be aware of the goals you would like to achieve. And on the other hand, because you're practicing how you write this very familiar set of text in a very slow, very methodical way, the act is going to translate into how you write everything else. A more advanced stage of practicing would be to use your cursive handwriting style to write your daily journals. Ideally, at this point, you should be very, very familiar with your particular way of writing the 26 letters. And I've been doing this practice for a while, and let me tell you, it's been making my journal writing experience that much more enjoyable. So if you stick with these two methodologies of practicing, I guarantee you that you're going to achieve this state where you can just write very beautiful, very legible texts in a very fast manner in no time. And at the end of this video, I would like to share with you guys a footage of me transcribing a passage from the legendary architect Vitruvius from his very famous treatise, The 10 Books on Architecture. And in this particular passage, Vitruvius talks about the education of an architect, and his core contention is that an architect should be essentially a Renaissance man, which means that he should not only be very familiar with mathematics and physics, but also he should dabble in philosophy, which is going to make his quality of thinking clearer, medicine, music, law, and a whole other variety of subject matters. And I like this passage because I'm a very cerebral person who have multiple different interests, and it also illuminates on the fact that our brain is designed to recognize patterns and make connections, and whatever new knowledge we found in other fields is going to be internalized by our brain and in turn enhance our design practice. Alright guys, so that wraps up today's content. I hope you found it informative, and regarding the future of this channel, it is my intention to put out more design related content instead of just delivering time-lapse of painting and drawings of buildings. So for the next week's content, I'm planning to do a book review on this book called How to Draw, written by Scott Robertson and Thomas Bertling. This book really brushed up my knowledge on perspective drawing, and it really reignited my passion towards very clear, very lucid pencil drawings. So that's coming up next, and see you guys next week. Bye bye.